Good evening, everybody. I've got 6 o'clock on the calendar, or on my watch, I should say. Go ahead and call the meeting to order. Jacksonville North Pulaski School District will be the model district where every learner is valued and empowered to become a successful, contributing member of society. It is our mission to foster a culture of ownership and accountability through partnerships that create multiple pathways of success. If you'll, Mr. Moore, go ahead and call the roll.
Okay, Colonel Estelle, Daniel Gray,
He's here.
Ava Coleman, Jim Moore here, Ron McDaniel,
Present.
Dina Tony,
Here.
Lauren Martin,
Here.
Laura Walker.
Here.
Everyone here.
All right, if you'll join me as we stand for a moment of silence, followed by the pledge.
Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. First item up, we've got some special presentations, but before I get to that, I'd like to read a thank you card that we as a district received. It says, "May the Lord bless you and keep you." Number 624. Thank you to the school board for all you do for Jacksonville. We have prayed for you all. Thank you very much. That's from the Rad Church. I think they've used our facility here after the tornado. All right. First up, we've got a special presentation, annual report to the public.
Thank you. Mr. Martin, can you clear that so I can share?
The Jacksonville North Pulaski School District is undeniably the heart of the community, pulsating with life and purpose, nurturing the dreams and aspirations of our youth. The passion and dedication of our educators and staff members is infused into every classroom, library, and playground. Beyond its role as an educational institution, JNPSD is a hub of community gatherings, cultural celebrations, and a source of inspiration. The district's commitment to the growth and well-being of scholars is the core foundation of its popularity. This annual report to the public showcases the important work taking place in the Jacksonville North Pulaski School District. Let's take a look back at the 2022-23 academic school year. As the district embraced a future of limitless possibilities, a new tagline was unveiled: "Learning is required." The slogan serves as a beacon for innovation and motivation for all. We want all of our scholars to know that learning is power, and it's not just a requirement, it's the passport to a future where potential knows no bounds. In academics, 49 scholars graduated from the JHS ACT Boot Camp. Jacksonville High School hosted the first time free event to help scholars improve their test scores and reduce their test taking anxiety. Scholars at Biomeda Elementary showed growth in literacy, and for that, the school received recognition and a nice check from the Peer Network. The sixth grade Quiz Bowl team won second place in the Wilbur D. Mills Elementary Quiz Bowl tournament. Congrats again, Peyton, Antonio, Alexander, Landon, and Dariana. For the first time in JNPSD's history, the Arkansas Seal of Biliteracy recognized 6 scholars for achieving academic success in 2 or more languages. Dual language achievements open many doors for employment and scholarships. In athletics, hats off to Logan Applegate for hitting the bullseye of success in trap shooting. Logan was named the grand champion at the Arkansas Game and Fish Foundation Youth Trap Tournament, placing first out of more than 300 students. And good game for the Titans varsity basketball team for winning the Morrilton International Tournament, defeating Watson Chapel in the finals. The Lady Titans track and field team finished 13th overall at the Leon White Invitational, their highest ranking in 3 years. Life skills scholars did an exceptional job at the Special Olympics on both the state and regional levels. Way to go, scholars! Your determination and spirit inspire us all. Starting athletes young is most important as it lays the foundation for a lifelong journey of physical fitness, discipline, and personal growth. We're so glad the district started the Titans in Training program, giving fifth graders the chance to play flag football, volleyball, and basketball. JNPSD had numerous proud district moments during the 22-23 school year. Two huge accomplishments for our Air Force Junior ROTC cadets. Not only did the cadets win the Distinguished Unit Award for the fifth straight year, they also earned the Silver Star Community Service Excellence Award. During the 22-23 school year, cadets clocked in more than 3,400 community service hours, averaging over 42.5 hours per cadet. And the spotlight continued to shine on the program. Captain James Warren was named the Air and Space Force Association's Arkansas Air Force Junior ROTC Instructor of the Year. Jacksonville Middle School took 64 band scholars to a solo and ensemble event at Harmony Grove High School in Benton. Of those scholars, 26 received a superior rating, 36 scholars received an excellent rating, and 2 of them received a good rating. Congrats, that's music to our ears. A big year for first. The Jacksonville High School Marching Titans set the standard by winning first place at Cranksgiving. The central office staff's Frozen-themed Christmas float garnered first place. And the first ever Family English class program hosted by the ESOL department was a huge success. Roll out the red carpet, JNPSD welcomed several special guests to the school district. Arkansas Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders and Education Secretary Jacob Oliva visited Taylor Elementary. Congressman French Hill made a stop at Lester Elementary to support the month of the military child. And it's always a fun time when local television personality Craig O'Neill stops by. He and his co-anchor Faith Woodard read to scholars at Biamita and Taylor Elementary. Every year, there's always that one picture or video that stands out among the rest on social media. In the blink of an eye, this heartwarming video captured a special moment that resonated with thousands. With 45,000 views and counting, it was the moment 8th grade scholar Kayshawn Young had the chance to score the first bucket in a February basketball game. What a great night to be a Titan. And finally, having 2 groundbreaking ceremonies for 2 new schools is a momentous occasion that signifies a double dose of progress and promise for our community. It's a unique chance to witness the birth of not one, but 2 hubs of learning and growth, each poised to shape the futures of countless scholars. We cannot wait for the opening of the all-new Biamita Elementary and Merle Taylor Elementary coming in August of 2024. We are very proud of the amazing students, educators, and staff members who represent our district through athletics, arts, academics, community service, and other activities. JNPSD is governed by an 8 member Board of Education who works with the superintendent and administration to set the direction of the school district with a primary focus on the education and well being of our scholars. The Board of Education develops policies, makes decisions regarding the construction, maintenance, and renovation of school facilities, and oversees the budget for the school district. This involves allocating funds to various programs, ensuring fiscal responsibility, and making financial decisions that align with the educational priorities of the community. Here's a breakdown of the financial status for the 2022-23 school year. The district had an annual budget of $50.4 million. We received state funding in the amount of $7,618 per student. The amount per student raised by local taxes was $2,897, with the remaining $4,720 in state participation. The fiscal year ended with a legal balance of $2.5 million and a total of $5.7 million was transferred to funds for future projects. District leaders established strategic goals for the school year through the School Improvement Plan. The plan included two focus areas: student achievement and culture and safety. Under the umbrella of student achievement, district leaders established a literacy program called Jacksonville Reads. It's a partnership between JNPSD Guiding Coalition and community stakeholders to support literacy for adults and children. The district's curriculum and instruction team also worked to create a rigorous and well balanced curriculum that challenged scholars to work at their highest potential. In the focus area of culture and safety, district leaders continue to support the PBIS framework. PBIS stands for Positive Behavior Interventions and Support. At JNPSD, scholars are rewarded for good behavior, which in turn establishes positive student culture and helps create a safe and effective learning environment. When it comes to recruitment and retention, the Jacksonville North Pulaski offers programs like the UALR Teacher Residency Program, tuition reimbursement programs, and the Grow Your Own Teacher Program, which enables teacher candidates to move into a profession at low or no cost to them. Armed commissioned school security officers are located in each of our 8 campuses. These dedicated men and women work closely with local first responders to prevent safety problems and address them when they do occur. Ensuring school security is of vital importance. Not only does it safeguard the well-being of students and staff, but it creates an environment where learning and personal growth can thrive without fear or distraction. Here are more facts about the 2022-23 school year. The district had a total enrollment of 4,481 scholars, a slight increase from the year before. Of those scholars, 73% were considered low income and 14% were eligible for special education. JNPSD had 315 licensed employees, with 37% of them holding advanced degrees, and the district also employed 270 classified staff members. In 2022-23, the district had 8 campuses, 1 pre-K, 4 elementaries, 1 middle school, 1 high school, plus an alternative learning campus known as Titan Learning Academy, or ALE. All schools received accreditation through the Arkansas Department of Education. JNPSD was and still is a proud Purple Star School District committed to serving the educational and social emotional needs of military families. The district also participated in school choice, which allows public education funds to follow students to the schools or services that best fit their needs, whether that's public school, private or charter schools, or homeschool. Every scholar in the district received free breakfast and lunch due to our involvement in CEP, the Community Eligibility Program. Also, during the 22-23 school year, the Child Nutrition Department served over 400,000 meals for breakfast and over 450,000 meals for lunch. They averaged over 5,000 meals per week in summer feeding. The Jacksonville North Pulaski School District is steadfastly tackling academic challenges while demonstrating steady progress in other vital areas. Despite facing hurdles, the district's unwavering determination to uplift its scholars is evident through innovative teaching approaches and community-driven support systems. While academic performance may be a work in progress, the district's commitment to strengthening extracurricular activities, fostering emotional well-being, and enhancing technological infrastructure is bearing fruit. With each day, JNPSD is reshaping itself into a learning environment that nurtures not only academic growth, but also personal development and future success. In this district, scholars have the incredible power to become the architects of their dreams, designing the blueprints for their lives, making choices that lead them closer to their goals. The Jacksonville North Pulaski School District is striving to be the model district where every learner is valued and empowered to become a successful, contributing member of society.
Definitely won't, she hates when I call on her, but if Mrs. Chisa will just stand and as she did this, put it together, so we appreciate her hard work on it. And that concludes the annual report. And the next special presentation, Dr. Walker will present the principal.
Well, good evening. We have two presentations tonight on data, and I would like for Mr. Young, the Pratt principal of Bobby Lester Elementary, to come forward, and he will be the first presenter.
Bobby G. Want to acknowledge that.
If I need to share it, I can share it.
Trying to do everything. I was going to actually say the Bobby G. Lester Elementary, not Bobby G. Lester. The. Thank you guys for giving me the opportunity to come and share tonight. So I could have done more than just 2 slides, but I know your time's precious. So I wanted to kind of go over just our map data with you guys. 52% of all K through 5 scholars tested were close ready and exceeding in reading. 44% of all of our K-5 scholars tested were close ready and exceeding in math. In our third grade, 56% of the scholars tested were close ready and exceeding in reading. A couple of things I wanted to show was the district just initiated a learning is required walkthrough. And in the walkthrough, you can see that here, and I actually have the link. our data went up as far as the learning is required statement went from 61, went from 61.6% not yet to 55% not yet. And that's a very, very strict observation of whether learning is required in the classroom. So we were very pleased with that. And then from 38% yes to 44%, as well as a few were very close in the classroom. What we observed going into the classroom and seeing what teachers were doing with students. And so when we say learning is required, we're saying learning is required by all students in the classroom. So that would mean that if we walked in the classroom and one student was off task, then we said that learning wasn't required for all students. So when we say that, we went up to 44% in all the classrooms, that's a remarkable amount. Also, I know the graph's kind of small, but the other thing I wanted to point out was our highly qualified materials that the teachers were using. Roughly 100% of our staff were using those materials, those decodables, and the materials that the district purchased on a daily basis on both walkthroughs. And our essential standards were 100% both times. And that one was pretty remarkable as well. So we were very pleased with our walkthrough data. Okay. And then the other thing I wanted to show that I'm very excited about is I know you guys have seen probably data walls when you go into a building. We moved to a digital data wall. Oh, I'm sorry, I don't even have access to my own data wall. No, it's not it. No. We went to a digital data wall, and on that data wall, you can actually, the teacher can move each student's information. I guess I didn't get her. I'm sorry. The teacher can move each student's data, just like on those data cards, individually. And so you can really see in that data wall, and I'd love to share it with you some other time, but you can actually see green, where they're yellow or they're red, and that they can be moved by the teacher just by moving their finger. And it creates this great visual effect of the students' growth in the building. So our why, that's one of the things that we discussed when we came back to school this year. The administrative team, what was our why, and then what was our staff's why. And we focused on me coming into the building on systems, communicating, establishing relationships with the community, the family, the students, and the staff. Culture, we wanted to build a cadre of committees designed to focus on our school culture, but also to build capacity in the staff and to give them voice. And performance management, teaching and learning at the core of everything that we do, and doing that at a very rigorous level. Our big rocks, a lot of times we can put too much on a teacher's plate, and it can feel overwhelming. So we wanted to focus on just a few things. And so our focus is our AVID course. So we have a monthly AVID strategy that they have to implement, and that we provide professional development throughout the month on those. Our culture in our building, teacher retention and building capacity in our staff, and our CTM, professional learning communities, cadres, and leadership team, our guiding coalition. And then my last thing there was being transformational in my leadership, not being transactional as a leader, and being more transformational in my staff. So that is it. Any questions? Thank you, guys. I appreciate y'all giving me the opportunity to speak.
Thank you, Mr.
Now we have Mrs. Lindsay Jones from the Mr. Williams,
As a Google cadre.
So good evening. Thank you for this opportunity. In 3 years, this is my third year at Bonita, and so in school. And so I'm really excited, and I can't wait to move into that new building. at the percentage of scholars meeting grade on NWEA math road. This year we have, I didn't do close, I just did those that were actually meeting the grade level expectations. And so 44% of our scholars met RIT on math road reading this year. And 37% of our scholars met RIT on math this year. I think that the exciting thing here is that we're up 5.13 percentage points from end of year overall. Reading in particular is about 10%. So from the beginning of the year last year. So what's exciting about that is what that tells us is that our kindergartners who are moving to first grade, we have more first graders on grade level than we did last year, starting the year. And so second grade, we have more second graders on grade level at the start of second grade than we did last year. And so when we're looking at that and we're looking at the curriculum and the data as a whole, it's showing us that we're filling learning gaps and we're sending more kids to the next grade level ready and on grade level and meeting their standards. And so we haven't seen that in a while. We're still not where we want to be, but we're seeing small gains. The curriculum team has done an amazing job putting stuff together for our teachers to use, and our teachers are really buying into that. And even with the implementation dip, which you sometimes see when you start a new curriculum, last year was our first year with that curriculum in math, we're still seeing substantial gains. So overall, just really positive stuff. And then when we focus our instructional focus on grade level essential standards, Mr. Young was talking about the learning is required walkthrough, and we look at three different things. Is learning required for all students, not just some of the students, but is learning required for every single student in the classroom? And what does that look like? For myself, that was really eye-opening when I sat with that team, because things that I would say, oh, of course, like, yes, learning is required. There's great teaching happening. There's great teaching happening, yes. But look at this pocket of students over here. They weren't, they might have been in the center, but were they engaged? Was there a follow-up activity? Was there something that showed true learning was happening for every student in that classroom? And when you look at it from that different lens, the answer was no. And so we had some really, really good conversation on, yes, good instruction was happening, but not to the level where we needed it to be. And what are we going to do to change that? What accountability pieces are we going to put in place? And so a couple of things, we started talking and we realized that parents, if I look at this from a parent's lens, I have no idea what's happening in my student's classroom, like my own child's classroom. What are they even supposed to be learning this week? And then we said, how are we going to get that out to the stakeholders and to the community members? Because they don't know. And so I linked it in your agenda this week, the Buy Anita Buzz, which is our weekly update to the parents. I do a weekly update for staff. And so we send this out to the parents once a week. And the teachers now have to put what they're teaching in student and parent-friendly language on there. So it wouldn't say just the standard, whatever that number and letter is, but it actually says what the skill is that every teacher should be teaching, every student should be learning these skills they should be getting from kindergarten through fifth grade, ELA, math, spelling, and science and social studies. And then the second part of that is ensuring that those grade level standards are the priority for all learners. That when a teacher's teaching, every lesson starts with, today, this is what our focus is on this specific, skill, this content area. And then the next piece is the scholars taking ownership of their learning and progress. So every student has an individual data binder. It's different depending on the grade level, but every student is required to, there was no activity in that because like I said, each one is different and they're actually binders, folders, there's something for each grade level, but they put what they're learning each particular day based on the learning targets that are on the board. They are tracking their attendance. Are they at school? Were they on time for school? Did they check out early? Maybe they're charting their behavior. So how did I do today? Was today a great day? How can I improve? And then they're using those binders, their outer binders or their data binders, for student-led conferences. And so I don't have the exact percentage. I would need to go in and look at that. But we do know that when we had our parent-teacher conferences in October, I want to say there was less than 5 parents per classroom that the teachers had to make phone calls for or do follow-up conferences with because the parents didn't show up. We had overwhelming success because the kids were prepped to lead the conferences. So they were given talking points and they prepared everything that they were going to tell their parents, including absenteeism. I was late. Well, why were you late? Well, in elementary, when a child is late for school, it falls on the parents. And those are conversations that students had with their own parents. I missed the bus because nobody woke me up. I got checked out early because Mom, you had to do this. And so those are some interesting conversations. And then the behavior conversations, well, I'm not doing well here, either I'm not here or I wasn't listening, and here's why I tracked my behavior. And so the students were actually telling their families, these are the areas where I need to improve, and working on plans with their families. And so that was really, really interesting to see. Kindergarten through 5th grade did that. We're working on building shared leadership and professional capacity. Again, we use cadres to lead the building. So we have cadres for building culture and for student data, student disciplines, everything, all of the systems that are in place in the schools, the teachers all run those. Mr. Lee and I oversee those, but they take ownership of each of those. When they come to us with a problem, they have to come to us with multiple solutions for fixing the problem that they've come up with. And then we have lead teachers at every grade level with experience in that grade level content, curriculum and standards. And so, 3 years at the same building has really allowed us to establish a pretty strong team. So I'm not having to train new teachers at every grade level, which has been, it's just really helped to build the strength of the team. And then during our collaborative team meetings, we focus on instructional planning based on student data and the 4 essential questions through professional learning communities. What are we teaching? How are we teaching those things? What do we do if the students don't learn the skill or content that we're teaching? And what are we going to do when they do learn it? How are we going to extend their learning? Which leads into our Titan Time planning. And we've had Titan Time since the beginning of school, which in our Titan Time groups, students are learning skills that they should have acquired at a powered grade level in a small group setting. But the piece that's been missing has been our extension piece. And so actually tomorrow, we start with the new extension piece. For the students who are not in a Titan Time group, we have at 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade an ELA teacher who is doing book studies and book talks. We have a 4th grade teacher who is doing ELA science, And then our coach will be leading a chess club for strategic skill staging. And then Mr. Lee and I are going to be doing reading and book studies with our kindergarten and 1st grade kids. We have about 35 kids that we'll be working with, and then 60 in the 3-5 group that will do student education. So we're excited to see how that works.
Thank you, Mrs. Jones.
Very
Any
much.
questions for us? Thank you. That,
I learned a new word, cadre. I didn't know what that meant, so I had to Google that. It's a small group of people specially trained for a particular purpose or profession. So, thank you. Now, you didn't know what that meant. Okay. Military word, education speak. All right. Okay.
that concludes the special presentation.
All right. Very good. Next item on our agenda, I have here an award to pass out for a outstanding school board member. Only members elected before January 1st, 2018, and have 25 hours of ASBA training credit. Miss Lauren Martin, come on down. Miss Lauren Walker, come on down. You'll get yours soon enough, or you already had it. Lauren, I'm sorry, that's my fault.
It happens all the time.
Okay.
All the time.
Really.
They're the twins. Okay, next item we have is our legal update. Mr. Scott Richardson. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Wait a minute. Good to see you again. I don't typically come down if I don't have a lot to say.
It's cheaper for us that way.
Is, well, that's part of the reason. I don't like to charge you when I don't, there's not much to charge you for. And so the problem is your district is too well run. You stay out of trouble, you stay interesting. So given that lead in, I thought I'd start with a little history lesson. A couple of issues, we always do have kind of percolating issues. So there's always some little employment thing going on, or Ms. Carrington is always good about contacting me on special education questions. So your district has issues, but they're very good at staying out in front of them before they become problems. One issue that's percolating is there's a former school building in your district that is actually owned by PCSSD. And so Dr. Owen, I thought it might be interesting to give you a little background on how that came to be. In the detachment from PCSSD, it was determined that I thought you could just split the districts and the school buildings that were here would become JNPSD school buildings. But because of technical bond law issues, it was determined that if the buildings were not purchased by JNPSD, then it would put the bonds at PCSD at risk. This is great. It's one of those times I remember this. So we actually this district actually had to purchase its buildings from PCSD, and it wasn't cheap. The former Jacksonville Elementary School property, though, it was then Superintendent Tony Wood, in very Tony Wood fashion, said, that building has asbestos and I'm not taking it. And they said, well, it's a school in your district. And he said, understood. I'm not buying it. I'm not taking it. Because it was going to be a big headache and a lot of expenses, especially for a nascent district that was, Dr. Wall will remember from those days, trying to project budgets with little to no history to rely on. So that building was turned down. They accidentally tried to sneak it in on us because if you look in the county records, there's actually a deed for the Jacksonville Elementary School to PCSD, to JNPSD, but we caught that and said, no, we're going to fix that, but it's not ours. So that's why that building is not Jacksonville North Pulaski School District property. And that's turned out to be a wise decision because to abate the asbestos, to demolish the property, is a pretty significant expense. Because district didn't use that. So, recent history lesson on the district. There's been some conversation about Dr. Warren's contract. We had some discussion about conversations that we might have in executive session. The legislature last session passed Act 883 that expanded what you can go into executive session to discuss and opened up a little bit who can go back into executive session with you. So right now you can go into executive session mostly just to discuss employment matters on particular employees. And you can only take back with you the superintendent, the supervisor of the employee, and the employees themselves. Act 883 provides that you can also have executive sessions to have pre-litigation discussions, litigation updates. You can discuss settlement offers and consideration of contract disputes with the superintendent and discussions pertaining to real property. And it also allows you to take me and your local attorney back with you into that executive session. But the legislature in its wisdom made the effective day of that act May 1st of 2024. Normally they're in August, the effective days are in August of the year of sessions, August 23, but that one they decided to bring it. So, the wrinkle for superintendent contracts that the legislature has given us is the requirement of performance targets for superintendent contracts. And it's a little bit of a complicated law, but they would like to see in superintendent contracts of employment performance targets that include, without limitation, student achievement for the entire public school district, student achievement for public schools that have received any variation of a C, D, or F performance grade, graduation rates for the district, and then graduation rates for schools in C, D, or F rating. As I understand, you've had a work session on this and had some discussion about it. I'll be happy to continue to work with your board president to discuss how to do that. The ASBA, I think, is promulgating some guidelines on it. One thing I would say is I would advise a lot of caution on performance standards based on student performance. We have gone through this a lot through the desegregation case. When I was with the state, I had access to two nationally recognized experts, including in the area of student achievement, because a lot of what happened in desegregation cases was school districts wanted to have improved performance of students, and so you had experts who would evaluate what are the programs that have been instituted to achieve that, and have they achieved their goals. One of the earliest studies of that was the Coleman Report in the 1960s, and there have been a host of them since. The long and short of them are most of these programs have very little effect on student achievement. You can have some movement of that needle, but it's a very hard to raise student achievement is a very difficult problem to solve. To lower student achievement, as we saw after we came back from COVID, you can really affect that. But to raise student achievement is a much more difficult problem. Compounded by the fact that as a school district, you only have students for a small slice of their lives. And there's so much more that goes into a student that affects their ability to learn. In school. So that would be my advice on that point. Is proceed cautiously, manage expectations, and don't set too high of expectations for yourself and for your superintendent. In good news, the desegregation council for you for a long time, and you've really given me not a lot of work over the last couple of years because you've done such a good job in meeting your desegregation obligations. Our last one is facilities, which required us to replace high school, middle school, and all our elementary schools. And as Dr. Fine and those people are probably going to have to tell you in a little bit, we're pretty close to achieving that goal. I think next year, summer of 24, the last two schools will be built, which will mean you've achieved all your desegregation obligations that you inherited when it became a school district, which is amazing to me because I don't know of any other school district anywhere that has taken on a desegregation plan and achieved it in such a short amount of time. It's less than 10 years. Really, really remarkable. So Dr. Noel and I started talking about it. Now that we've talked to Carl, what do we do? I think one of the things we're talking about is probably filing some sort of motion once the buildings are completed to ask the court to recognize that the district is fully unitary and fully released me in all obligations. So that might be something to look forward to celebrate for the 24-25 school year. Which I look back and Judge Marshall's order on our facilities. I had actually forgotten this, but he had written in. The JNPSD implements and completes its 2018 Master Facilities Plan as modified. It will be unitary facilities in approximately 2026. The court looks forward to that day. So, I mean, not only have you done faster than anybody else, you've faster than the judge is anticipating. I'm sure the interveners will have something to say about that. For those that we'll leave that for another day. Do you have any other questions?
Any questions for Scott? Thank you, sir. Appreciate you very much.
Thank you. I always appreciate the opportunity to represent.
All right. And as regards to that contract, that's an annual, normal thing that we have to do. That's required. Nothing out of the ordinary, out of the blue, where we're having this conversation.
Understood.
All right. Facilities update. Mr. Roger, Michael, Matthew. Michael stepped up. Come on down.
Good evening, everyone. Matthew Swain, WR Architects. So, as most of you have probably seen, there's quite a bit of work going on at Taylor and Biometer right now. The middle school is pretty much done, right? And it's good to see all that happening. So, what we would like to do, if you are interested in it, is we would like to take your board on a tour of those facilities at some point. So, we will work with Dr. Ola to schedule that. It's possible for you guys to do. We think it's a good time for that. Good time to see some colors on some walls and make sure they're right.
That's when I saw paint on the walls. I was like, oh my God, yeah.
So, everybody's excited to get covering. And Roger's very ecstatic because he's actually received permits from the Department of Transportation. So whomever requested that some representatives get involved in that, I do appreciate that because that is his strict. So that's headed in the right direction. Our health department stuff is almost there for Biomeda with the wastewater treatment plant, and we're about there on that stuff. So any questions on the architecture design side of it?
So it sounds like we need a thank you note to Representative Perry.
Yes.
Your help. You helped
Yes,
immensely.
that would be a good thing to do. I'll let Michael, he can talk about legacy of Dr. Owen.
We can come back to that. Here, he's back now.
Hey, we can go through the update first if you'd like. Yeah, that is really good news, and I definitely appreciate you made all the phone calls. We did have a sit-down meeting with DLT, and I got permits inside of a week. So that's really, really good news. We are not doing the road widening. That got pulled out in that meeting. The engineers going to work with the county and the state to try to do that at a later date. So we're still planning on pushing forward that. You're just not going to pay for it. So even better news. So, facilities update for the Biometer start there. Roofing's 50%. We're still got some issues there. Working through that. Getting in dry areas 1 and 2, the cafeteria and the admin side. The classroom wings, the south classroom wing and the kindergarten classroom, we got the first coat of paint on. We're working through all of our MEPs, putting in our heaters in the closets in those areas, getting all of everything in the other wing prep, getting ready to paint. We're moving pretty well. All of our framing's probably about 95% on the whole building, interior and exterior. We can't sheetrock anything we wanted to do with the roof, float and dry. So that's a little hiccup. Working on site package. We're doing our curb and gutter. When we get the driveways in, we'll drop those in. Try to get that asphalted. So we'll start work on those drives here in the next few weeks, so we get permission to do. So all that's good news. Wastewater treatment, kind of the last little ticket to get us moving forward. Any questions on biomedical? We're working hard at it. Got a good team. Merle Taylor's kind of in the same boat. They're a little bit behind us. They're working on the roofing. They're working on framing. Masonry did show up. Masonry's ongoing on both projects right now. So they're probably a week and a half behind us schedule-wise. They're tracking fairly well. Any questions on Merle Taylor? And then the demo. The demo's going fairly well. The building's down. All the foundations are out. They're working on all the underground piping. Usually pulling it out. They got the last few buildings down last week. Scheduled to finish on the 20th. It'll be close one way or the other a little bit. The project won't be 100% until we get 80% covered on the ground. So we can't pull all the silt tanks and stuff out until we get released from the department of the SWAP. So we'll have to monitor that, keep it watered. And all that. We'll do our sidewalks and put those in as soon as that last drive gets pulled out. Questions on the demo?
Thank you.
Mark Davis.
Good evening, everybody. Hope everybody's having a good evening. So we were challenged at the board work session. We presented the initial budget pricing for the monument for the legacy walk. The initial pricing came in about $289,000, just under $300,000, and so our team, as well as the design team, Matthew and his team, went back to the drawing board, looked at producing these monuments out of varnished block, similar to what we have inside of the high school. And so by being able to small tweaks and doing this out of varnished block in lieu of the full granite monuments, we were able to save significantly. And so our budget, and this is a little bit of a rough budget, but our budget is $65,040 out of varnished block. What that does also is if we're within the budget to proceed, and the design team can go ahead and move forward on finalizing the design, we can the varnished block will be available upon release within 8 to 12 weeks. So that's significantly enough lead time as opposed to the granite one. Are there any questions on the overall budget for the?
That sounds more better. More better.
So I mean, we're looking forward to it. Signage, Dr. Owens, as he scans through, kind of going through the estimate breakdown from the budget. And there's only, I know one major talking point was the demo of the sidewalk, of the existing sidewalk. I think we were able to reduce that due to less required weight, or less required footing for the furniture block.
I don't have any objection now. That sounds $225,000 savings. I'm good now.
So the next steps will be Matthew and his team will finalize the design, and then we'll be able to start pricing and actually bid that out and bring it to your formal project.
Thank you all very much. Appreciate your patience and continued hard work and sharpening the pencil. Appreciate it. Thanks, sir. See y'all. All right. Dr. Stein.
So I have some slides, you always enjoy your slides, I know. So we're working on the master plan, of course. And so your last school board meeting saw the opportunity of maybe additional new schools, maybe the opportunity of state funds. So you have here my suitability study, I guess, if you will. So the overall bottom line, I'll leave you off and say, I saw no suitability. I saw that I'd say it's fun. So if you first slide, of course, if you study suitability, you always study students, right? The actual numbers. So here is the slide that shows the actual numbers of students there on the left-hand side, the graph. And the other side is showing the state's 10-year numbers. Now look at it. So you see the actual trend line of our students there, it's a positive slope. So that shows the overall trend there is more students. The state same way shows the positive trend line. It shows there's some more students, which is good. The next slide is sort of drills down to the numbers there of the actual state. So they have the 10-year numbers per school grade. So you see there the 10-year numbers of every grade. The yellow highlights show the actual maximum number during the 10-year section there. So they say the elementary school is about the maximum level now. The middle school, that's 5 or so more years, and the high school in year 9. This is their numbers, perhaps right. The law says you actually need using it as a suitability analysis. That's why you actually see this. And so they show the overall school district is sort of maximizing students there in year 5. The next slide then, so once you have the students seeing the size of the school and suitability, next slide, this is the tool we actually need, the PO. So this slide shows the actual tool there, the spreadsheet. And so you place in your actual number of students there in the upper left. We'll stick in the actual number of students. So this tells you the size of a new school. So this is really a new school tool, if you will. Plus, this is the minimum standard. So schools in general want to have some more space. So this is each state's minimum standards on the size of the school. And so how you use this again is a new school tool. So that for your schools now, you actually run a POR for your students. They should your school now, they have more space, you have surplus space to excess. If you have less space, it shows you need the suitability in addition. Next slide shows the actual 6 new students. So it shows the enrollments we use for the study, POR. It shows the size of those new schools based on the plus it's size of school. So one lesson learned was we did really well. We held ourselves to the actual size. A lot of the school districts, if you build, more space, you're paying for that space, and then later on you hurt suitability. So you see, we were very near the size in all our schools. So we really managed, in my opinion, very well that, to have these new schools that sort of match standard size. Next slide then that shows the current suitability level based on, let's do this now. So you run the suitability analysis for these schools. The red line there, which is far right, that shows really we have surplus space in all our schools. And some schools more than the other schools, but the surplus space in every school. The main school really, the positive, high school really has a lot of surplus space, and that allows you really more there, like in the high school. The next slide that shows then the opportunities of new schools. So here's the opportunities looking at a brand new school. So you're looking at a new school, placing all your 5, 6 students in the new school. Let's see the actual number of students there, 765. So 4 schools then, Lester, Jacksonville, Balmain, and Taylor. But there is one grade school. The middle school is losing 6th grade. So you actually move in 5th and 6th. The size of the new school is a little larger than Lester. For surplus, though, shows you have more surplus space in the other schools than the actual new school size. The state says in the rules, if you want to build a new school, if you're moving the students around, and for some of these schools, we're going to look at schools, students that left. In other words, we're not paying you for a new space if you're leaving the space in another school. So that's why you have to run the suitability of the schools. It shows that if you move the students there in the other schools, they all have surplus space. Next slide shows maybe another opportunity instead of a new school of 5 or 6, it's some sort of a school generation to move in students from several schools. So again, you see the actual size of the new school, 77, 965. So again, you run the excess in all the other schools, and you see you have more surplus space in the other schools than the actual big school. So it says you have a net of 10,000 surplus space. So you're nearly space-wise about the same space and suitability and surplus. So you state, of course, the space you need this space. The suitability analysis says no. Now, again, the suitability analysis is based on the need. The summary, I guess, the summary says we have surplus space in all our schools based on the suitability analysis. The state is showing you will gain that student flow in the next 10 years. So really, the overall bottom line is the state that says it gets and knows suitability money.
Very good. Thank you very much for the report. Unfortunately, it's we're doing better than we thought we were as far as the space that we have. So, sounds like we might have an opportunity for some rezoning, stuff like that, before we approach anything else. Very good. Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate it. Any questions, Dr. Stein?
Dr. Stein, are we going to keep the North Taylor campus? Or is it going to be?
So that was part of my report. I would like to present a proposal for you all to think about for a next step. We discussed moving pre-K from Homer Atkins to Laurel Taylor. We've asked Dr. Stein and some of our other team members to look at if there's a conflict with us having a new building built for Merle Taylor with partnership funding, would there be a conflict in keeping that building and using it? And so when we looked to see if pre-K could be housed there, there would not be a conflict or anything in law that would forbid us to use it. That would allow us to move pre-K closer to the inner city part of Jacksonville, but it would also give us the opportunity to have pre-K on one side and a possible district daycare for school employees and additional people who would opt into using our daycare, but we would be able to house both the daycare and the pre-K center in that building. And then we would like to retool the multi-purpose building on Merle Taylor's building for the K-5 ALE, which will bring that out of Lester Elementary, which will open space. So that's what I was going to propose to you.
Want to ask a question?
Yes, sir. And we would hope to be able to renovate the outside and some of the parts on the inside of Merle Taylor for the pre-K and daycare center, as well as the multi-purpose building for ALE K-5. My proposal was to flatten it and sell the land.
All right. Questions? What do you need to, is that?
Well, honestly, the decision to keep Merle Taylor and repurpose it, we need that decision soon, because Baldwin and Shell needs to be able to redraw. Well, WER would need to redraw the road that will go behind Merle Taylor that will connect with Loop Road.
Any objections?
No.
There you go.
Yeah, I'll make a motion. We move ahead. We move ahead. Second.
Motion and a second to move ahead. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes unanimously.
Thank you, thank you.
We're moving ahead. All right. Does that conclude your superintendent's report?
No, I have a couple more things for superintendent's report if you're ready.
Yes, sir. Come on.
One ASBA conference is coming up this in December. So I wanted to,
Can you remind us the dates of that, please?
December 6th through the 8th. And so if this is our state conference, and so if you all would like to participate, we can register you.
Yes, Melissa. Yes, please.
We do have a virtual option too, if I can get one.
Anymore.
So we could we can register you for the virtual and in person, but I will tell you, it's a great experience being in person with the other school boards. So if you'll just let us know tonight or by email tomorrow, and we can go ahead and register you for that. The second thing is probably one of the most important things that the staff does not know, but I would like to, we've been working on numbers, and as you all will know, ESSER funds will sunset December of 2024. Part of those funds we could use for a retention bonus. And so I would like to propose to you all a $615 retention bonus for all staff members licensed classified that will be paid out on the November 17th payroll for this month.
A motion and a second for a $615 retention bonus for all employees that are currently employed.
Yes, thank you. Currently employed as of November 1st and still employed as of on November 17th payroll.
Any other discussions or clarification? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes unanimously.
That concludes my superintendent's report. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you, sir. All right, any PPC reports this evening? No?
Not this month.
All right, next item is the consent agenda. We've got the minutes of October 2nd and the special board meeting, October 23rd, and the work session. Is there anything that needs to be pulled down for discussion? If not, I would entertain a motion to approve. Also, the financial report and the assistant superintendent's reports are on there. Get a motion in a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes unanimously. Legal transfers.
Yes, so we have 3 legal transfers before you tonight, all to leave Jacksonville North Pulaski to go to Cabot School District. The recommendation is to approve all 3 transfers.
All right. Do I hear a motion?
So moved. Second.
Got a motion and a second. Is there anyone here to speak in favor of that happening? Anybody opposed to that happening? There is nobody. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes unanimously. Next, we've got 3.9.13 licensed personnel workday.
Yes, this was revised to correlate with the actual bell schedule so that the policy matches the actual workday for our staff members.
All right. You need to vote on that, or?
Yes.
Okay. We've got a recommendation to approve as presented. And a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes unanimously. Next, we've got a personnel report, but we've also got an addendum. So I would entertain a motion to approve the addendum as presented on your table in front of you to the add to the agenda. Motion and a second. All in favor? Any opposed? All right, so that is added to the personnel report already included in your packet. Any discussion on that would need to be held in executive session. If there is no need, we do have a recommendation to approve as presented.
So moved.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that passes unanimously. Next, we've got student disciplinary actions. I believe we have a few uncontested.
Yes, that's
And
correct.
those should be on your device. There should only be.
Mr. Smith, do we have 11? Will you look in the folder to see which one? Only have one.
Special, I have 11. Oh, you want to see that?
Are you looking at 2022?
Yeah,
So, I talked to older individuals that are approved. Since these are all uncontested, we can make one motion for all at the same time. We don't have to go through it. So, is there a motion?
I make a motion to approve the recommendation of 16 for all 9.
Any discussion, questions? All in favor? Any opposed? Nobody opposed, that passes unanimously. All right. So that concludes our two.
Do we have an update on building?
What's Mr. Lester? Update on the move. They actually had the meeting today with the principal and Dr. Walker. So the Titan Learning Academy move update.
We will, the 18th to the 21st, we will be moving in there. We've got a schedule for the scholars. So they will still be in classrooms over at the high school in the stadium. There's 2 classrooms that will house them in there while we move things out. In the meantime,
December or November?
December.
December. Are we not? We're not out of school on the 18th. That's just the other district that's out of school.
Yeah, threw me off there for a minute. Yes, December. But yes, the walls will be finished next week. The air conditioning, the HVAC is supposed to be finished next week. It's looking really nice. I would suggest y'all go take a look at where it's going forward. All the sheet rock is up and painted. We could not go with the structure the way it was at the beginning because it had wood structure in there, and the fire code says that you have to have a slow burn material in there. So we put sheet rock and painted. It looks really good. So we're on schedule to have it done and moved in.
Why don't we just, whenever we decide on the tour for the two elementary schools, we can stop by the ALE building as well.
Absolutely.
And if I could say one thing in addition to that, I just want to thank the board for allowing us to move forward with this, because as we shrink the footprint of the number of buildings we have on separate campuses, this is going to help us to be more efficient and effective. So once ALE is on this site, we will have 3 schools on there, and so we could be able to support the administration, the support services that are over there. But as we move forward to the Merle Taylor campus, that's the same thing that we want to replicate there. And so we're able to share personnel, but also services by having multiple campuses on one.
The same grade levels.
So, yes.
Same gravity levels that we support from those grade levels.
Awesome. Thank you very much, sir. Keep up the good work. Is there, I have nothing else on the agenda other than Ron McDaniel.
Make motion to adjourn.
All right, we are adjourned. Y'all have a good night. Thank you.